So what do you see like as the biggest mistake from technical standpoint that companies do that has to do something with ads?
Well, this is great question. Like proper asset library saves 30% of time on setting up the creative environment.
What would you like even advise the smaller teams with smaller games? Like what should they aim for if they want to scale today or next year?
Listen to people with experience.
Welcome to Pixel Papas. Today's guest, Konrad Ciok, brings 11 years in digital marketing, 7 laser-focused in mobile gaming UA, gained experience at huge games Vivid or Boombit. Now he's leading the charge at Novasphere, a rising star in mobile publishing.
How are you? We got Konrad with us here today. Actually, another Pixel Papa. He's Papa, he plays games, and he's from the industry. So, yay, another Pixel Papa in the team. How are you, Konrad?
Really good, thank you. And funny story is that in the place where I live in Spain, they usually say "papa" when they are calling their fathers. So yes, I'm real papa.
Nice.
Papa.
So yeah, even Papa is like,
Pa.
oh, man, this is like Papaception. We're Papa from every corner.
Yes. With different accents, yes.
Papa, you are here with us because you also have a strong experience, right, in mobile marketing. Tell us a little bit more about where you've been working for how long, what's your focus, and so on.
Sure. So I joined the user acquisition industry, I would say 10 years ago. And first, there was a mobile app period, like I was in Booksy, which is this scheduling unicorn app from Poland. Then I went to Indahash, that is or was the micro-influencer management app. Then I jumped to Huge Games, which was like a big step, a small step for men, but great for my experience. And from Huge, I went to the other Polish studios like Vivid Games, Boombit, Rage Quit Games, where I was for the longest period, like almost 4 years. So this was one of the last episodes. And recently I had a chance to be head of user acquisition in Second Life.com. I don't know if you guys remember, this is like this virtual reality sandbox dinosaur app that was developed 26 years ago, and they just go mobile right now. So I was there to help them. Unfortunately, being a father and working in California time zone from Europe wasn't exactly something that I could match for longer. So now I'm a part of Brainton Dev / Novasphere. This is the new project that will focus on publishing mobile games. And I'm also responsible for user acquisition staff here.
Nice.
10 years.
A lot of stuff, man. 10 years, but isn't it like 10 companies in 10 years?
Oh, it's like, there were episodes of the companies where I was like only for like 6 months, and the ones that I've been working for 4 years. But I also had, during this time, I also had my small UA agency where I work also with RTB House, Lucky Duck Games, Highcore Games, Artifacts Mundi from Poland, and some other stuff. So there were more projects that I've been helping with during this 10 years.
We can say that you've been busy.
Yeah. Just a bit.
And now you're a more technical guy. So
yes.
Yeah. Less creative, more technical. So let's dive right into it.
Yes.
So what do you see like as the biggest mistake from technical standpoint that companies do that has to do something with ads?
Well, this is great question, and we can do like podcast series about that, I guess. And this is without any exaggerating, because it's a mess. And I guess we can split the projects, like developers who are freelancers in the small studios and big studios, and the publishers, because these are different scenarios of how the data is handled by them. And I would break it down for like three sections. First is the awareness of importance of both attribution and signals quality that it's necessary right now to fit the algorithms and get proper cost versus revenue data. So the small companies mostly focus on in-game analytics because they care a lot about the retention rates and engagement and stickiness and so on, which is super important, and I don't blame them. But unfortunately, there is somehow this cognitive bias when they need to jump into the business and marketing and scaling phase when the product is more or less prepared for acquisition. And one example from the recent experience is that I've been talking with a Unity developer who was implementing AppsFlyer SDK. And he eventually get to the point when he, for example, implemented in-app purchase, AF purchase standard event. So we've been doing the next UA round to see if this implementation goes well. But in the end, it appeared that he implemented it without the revenue value, like without the currency and value parameter. And I'm asking, dude, why? It's a purchase. And he said but we have internally the packages names and we know how much do they cost. So we can calculate this revenue on our side. We don't need this here. But I was like, okay, but Facebook don't know this because he can ask you about this revenue data. Google Ads will not know. DSPs for sure will not know because Facebook and Google may have Firebase and Facebook SDK, but DSPs rely only on still on attribution links and AppsFlyer integration. And he was like, okay, I just didn't realize this importance. And when AIPs is still less pain, then the unmonetization integration comes to the place. And this is even more problematic because there are plenty of ad mediation platforms and there are plenty of ad network adapters that need to be integrated into that. And then there are several ways of connecting this to AppsFlyer, let's say on impression level, on device level, on aggregated level. And recently, after AppsFlyer introduced the new SDKs versions, there is this ad revenue API that connect device and impression level data in ad revenue metric calculations, which allows to use this as a postback to Facebook ad ROAS campaigns and Google Ads ad ROAS, blended ROAS campaigns, which was previously possible for Google Ads only from AdMob data. So these are the awareness technical skills, because also the developer I've mentioned who worked for pretty big developer studio, he admitted that he did it for the first time because he never had this input that pointed him the importance of this stuff. Yeah, and this is from my perspective, is pretty much surprising because we all talk about AI, machine learning, and how automated everything becomes. But there is no other option to run those automated stuff. We just need to feed them with proper, valuable, accurate data. And probably we will talk more about the future of user acquisition later. And there is we can think about these automations and data-driven stuff as one of the pillars of future of user acquisition, I guess.
Yeah. Cool stuff. So there is a lot to cover. Like you said, there can be separate podcasts. No, but a lot of technical stuff is important, right? And we could cover the whole podcast and the whole series about it. And the importance is there because without it, what can you do? There is no point in running ads or because we're more focused on creativity and UA, right? But what's the point if you don't set up stuff right? There is no revenue coming in. There is no events. There's
no.
You can have the best blind. Creative.
Yeah.
You're screwed. So but maybe you should prepare some kind of a newsletter, or maybe you could have your own series that you could
about
record.
the technical stuff. Wow.
Yeah, maybe.
I never thought about that. Yeah, I was always more focused about delivering quality for clients rather than pumping my personal brand. So maybe this is time to thank you for suggesting this.
This is not only your personal brand. Maybe you can save the, next time you meet developer and he'll be like, oh, I don't know how to implement this. You just send him, this is the link for a podcast that I have, just listen to it and do it, please.
Yeah. Is for our all good.
No, but let's go to the creativity, right? So I know you're technical, but you cannot escape this podcast without actual questions. And I'll be biased to ask you the questions about creatives. I'll leave Martin to ask you. I want to see the battle of creative guy versus technical guy. Where's the conversation gonna go? Martin, ask him something tough.
Yeah, something tough. I was listening to you because I'm from the creative spectrum. So you were now talking about everything I don't understand really. So I just know that when we with the team we created some creative and you guys were running it, they were bitching about the studio or the game that we cannot track anything basically. So I think that this is your role, right? So to set up everything so it's tracked well. It's very important. Yeah. So okay, I now at least know what you're actually doing and what's the magic
In the
behind
free
it.
time, yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, maybe regarding creatives, what do you think it's the more important maybe to have the best creative or to have technical side done
Well,
well?
these are super connected things, and for seasoned user acquisition manager, those two things are equally important, because remember that always when you see look at the performance of the campaigns in UA, you break down the campaigns or whole channel or country performance by few things, by media source, by campaign ad set level, but also you are checking the creative level. So if you have proper events, proper postbacks, you can check and evaluate creatives properly ROAS wise, not only CTR wise, cost per click and so on, this high level data, but as we know from many years in this industry, ROAS is the king. So checking the ROAS and revenue and RPU, average revenue per user, by the creative is crucial to think about iterations and new concepts and creating robust creative production process, I guess. Because without the proper values in the tables, the creatives are just like you are tracking the sentiment and clickability. But without the proper technical background, it's not very useful from my perspective.
And you were the part, like I checked your LinkedIn, you were the head of user acquisition for the company's head of teams, right?
Yeah.
And what was your part in this creative process?
So this is also a matter of the scale of the company, because as I said, I had a few freelance clients and I worked for bigger entities, and there is no, unfortunately, or fortunate, there is no rule. Let's discuss stakeholders. I guess that sometimes awareness about importance of analytic stuff is higher in the end. Stakeholders understand that they need to, because they are following the revenue data in the end, right? They want to know how much they earn and spend. But regarding the creatives, they are sometimes, and it's not generalizing, but I would say 50% of stakeholders I know, they just still in the moment where Facebook campaigns, you just been putting 3 static banners and they've been there for like 1 month. So they do not understand that, and the frequency just like went up just a bit. So they do not understand that. We started from technical side, and I said it's pain in the ass sometimes to get this analytical stuff to the point, but I can handle that. With creatives, this require more investment from the stakeholders' perspective, I guess, to set up, to commit to work with creative agency or tools like AdSpawn or other ones that are
Not
on the
paid
market.
advertisement.
Not paid
Not paid.
advertisement. Yeah, not paid. But without the creatives that are not, I don't want to say random, but let's say that because this is one of the scenarios I've been into recently. Game has 50% day one retention, prepared for user acquisition as much as it can be. But stakeholders do not have even one graphic designer in their team, and they just do. Recently, I just received the banners made by one of the store managers in this company, which were very, very bad quality. And from my perspective, it's not worth investing time to. You will probably cut it to work with the stakeholders who just who just can't learn about that importance of this creative stuff, because this is like handbrake. Without proper production process, you are on handbrake with user acquisition right now, because in this post-privacy ATT scan environments, creatives become your biggest leverage in user acquisition. And this, how effective you are, how quick you adapt to AI models and how can you utilize and mix them with the real gameplay creatives and so on. It determines your success possibility. That's my understanding of it. So, but you were asking about where am I in this process. So, in Rage Quit, where I was for the last 3.5 year, I had internal team of 2 motion designers, 1 graphic designer, and my role was to first, because this was the last 3 years, was the moment when Midjourney first and then the rest of the models came. And I was super early adopter of this, and I encouraged my team to adapt to these tools from the very beginning, which they did. There were some, ethics discussions and, some doubts from their side. But now when I talked with them, they admit that this was a great move, because combining this stuff with nice product gameplays is crucial, and it gives us like dozens of more iteration assets and numbers, like it's the quantity of the creatives. It's even more important right now, I guess. You please correct me if I'm wrong, than quality. And the games that we've been working in Rage Quit games with were, hardcore RPG titles that have, like users are there for like 3 years playing these games. And before we introduce these changes into the process and AI stuff, we've been producing 2 concepts a week. And after we introduced all of this, from ChatGPT that we're iterating the scenarios to Clink, Flux, you name it, all of them. We ended to 6 to 8 new ones and some iterations of the best performing ones. This was something. Sorry. And again, to summarize, my role was to rather encourage them to be more change manager than a creative team manager, because I don't feel like creative producers at all. I'm more like, from the team management perspective, what it was super important to me to show them importance of this change.
Yeah, so we were the strategies behind the team saying that,
Rather,
okay,
yes.
let's go to AI, but I don't know what we are doing there, and I don't care really.
Yes, just a bit. Yeah.
But do
But
something.
in the end, as you guys know better than me, AI is not a solution for everything in this creative environment right now. And we realized pretty quick that we need to combine this with real game assets.
There is like so much workflows. Like, yeah, I'm more interested in. So, what's your current like status, or what's your current creative process? Like, where do you stand with creatives now? Like, because you said in Rage Quit games, but what's in the past, and you introduced, and so you're already like looking forward. You were this innovator, right?
Yeah, so this is funny stuff, because I know a few user acquisition managers from Poland. And when we meet somewhere, it's usually, or I see them on the calls or whatever, they usually say things like, in huge games, we used to, which was like 8 years ago, because no one did what there. So I don't want to tell you, like, in Rage Quit game, we used to do that, this or that. Right now, I'm happy to, let's admit that, I'm happy to work with Adspon on creatives, because this is one of the biggest challenges that I have, because Novasphere and Brayton, these are new entities, and we do not have internal resources that cover the creatives. And this from the scratch is very, very big help for me. But so I do not have, unfortunately, the process for creating creatives internally, which I need to develop the other day. Mostly because being publisher is also different than being a developer, because these creative pipelines need to be a little bit different, because you eventually need to test plenty of prototypes and evaluate them on weekly basis, honestly. So we would need to have this professional gameplay recording process. We would need to have proper asset takeover process, which is also super important in this very first phase, because like proper asset library saves 30% of time on setting up the creative environment, from what I learned last years. So this will be the very first steps from my perspective. But the second area that need to be handled on my side, this is just from my recent experiences, and this is something also something that developers miss, is the creative reporting. Because analytic stuff, even when we go to this business oriented analytics, they focus on ROAS and placements, geos, campaigns, and so on. I don't recall a developer who, during the time when I was working with those developers, who had extensive real-time cohort creative reporting system, which I don't understand, because it's equally important.
Yeah. Do you think this is going to be the future? That there will be some kind of a reporting tool for creatives that merges all the sources and it like gives the whole company like information? Because this is my vision, to like actually have this kind of a tool that will just pump you every day or once a week. It will tell you, this creative works on like pop up on Slack or whatever you use. Like,
Yeah.
this what works, this doesn't. The whole company can check. Yeah, this looks awesome. Like, and
Yeah.
just move forward.
This would be awesome. I guess that there were some approaches to that. There was a moment where in Facebook Ads Manager, there was this tab of creative reporting appeared, and I never used this efficiently, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just didn't like it. Let's discuss Uplovin for a moment, because it's still super hot, even after this shit show that took place a few months ago, after they scaled up on stock and then boom. But yeah, they have so many first-party data that they could utilize, and their platform, unfortunately, still do not provide complex, robust, creative assessment tool. And honestly, yeah, so this is the one thing. But let's not so the creative reporting, but also what's super important, and also it depends on the scale, because 90% of developers can't afford things like Sensor Tower or AppMagic to scan the competition, because this is maybe not equally relevant, but this is also super important to catch the trends. And this is also part of the future. I mean, like proper scanning and proper access to the market data via tools, external tools, is also super important. But this is third-party data. And I think that the future goes with the first-party data, which means that the higher scale you are, the more users DAU you get, the more data you can combine together, the more outcomes you can get from your analytics. And also it allows you to have proper cross-promotion and so on, because you have multiple titles on the scale and so on. So this also have different implications, like proper live ops that are truly personalized, because you include the AI into that. Yeah. So this is the future.
This is the future. But you mentioned this is like for bigger, like when you have a scale. What would you like even advise the smaller teams with smaller games? Like what should they aim for if they want to scale today or next year?
Listen to people with experience.
Dude, but there is so much stuff being said, even like on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Like everybody says something.
Yeah, but guys, off the record, I will tell you things that you can't imagine, really. Sorry, being serious. What's important in scaling right now, being small, is putting resources in the proper fields. For example, I have one freelance client who run non-stop 300 euro day campaign on Facebook from since 2024 for one game that it's a match 3 game, and because they are improving retention, so they want to have constant flow of the users, but when I came there after 9 months of this campaign being active, it appears that they do that with 3 graphic assets without any change for this 9 months. So, if they will stop this for 3 weeks, 300 for 20 multiplied by 21 will give them proper budget for motion designer and graphic designer to take care of the creatives for the next 9 months, I guess, which they do not do, because they don't know the importance of that. So putting resources in the correct places and not trying to, maybe it will not sound very encouraging, but there unfortunately are no baby steps here right now in this industry environment, I guess, because this reality that we are right now in mobile gaming, unfortunately, gives advantage to the bigger players. So either you have few options. Either you go to publisher and he's covering your spend, and he's increasing your knowledge and so on, or you just commit yourself to some sacrifices and you try to establish proper analytics and creatives in-house because you believe in your product. There are no baby steps. It's not like you will create 3 banners in Midjourney and run it through to 9 months. Because even if you want, okay, there is some work that was done. We are collecting the data, but they don't know how to utilize it.
Mhm.
Analytics, creatives, it's something that every even small developer right now should try to secure these 2.
Okay, cool, thanks.
I would like to go back for a moment to these small developers challenges that they may have, because I was saying that this environment benefits the scale, and as the market is pretty much saturated. Yesterday I read the report that every month 80,000 bundles are uploaded to the Google Play Store, which is crazy. And it means that average retention rate per product is decreasing. Like over time, we see this because of the social media algorithms are super sophisticated and get a lot of attention. Subscription model app get a lot of traffic because people right now, and it started during the COVID, they changed their way of monthly entertainment budget utilization towards, for example, Disney. You can either play 30 minutes for with casual game, or watch the Andor series episode, and many people just find it more entertaining, right? And it costs just €8 a month or something. It's not paid advertisement as well. So the decreasing retention rate is the one challenge, but also the saturation goes with, I would say, higher entrance point, because you plenty of those new bundles and developers, they invest in new UA. So the average cost of the user acquisition increases. This and decreased long-term retention put you in a way when you need to be more sophisticated when you design the early monetization patterns, because you need to catch as much revenue on the very beginning of the user journey. And so the onboarding and early retention is very much monetized, which means that this means that the retention rate decreases even more, because people see that they are forced to be monetized, let's say, to pay or watch the ads and so on. So this is like a wheel.
My game is awesome. I'm gonna release it and everybody's gonna play it. Yeah, well,
No. I would say, I'm still in the industry, and I still think that there is a plenty of room, because on the other side, plenty of stuff that were not that, casual people did not have access to. Now they are, they are available, like these AI tools, and they are creative processes are the ones, but also the game design and even business related stuff is more available, and the knowledge is down near. You don't need to be a junior, waste time to be a junior. You just move forward. Okay, sorry, because we went from the.
Maybe it's going to be
creative.
like one developer who just, maybe not even developer. It's just gonna be like one guy who just has a great idea and it's executed through the AI, like designed, developed, released, and marketed all with the help of the AI, and it's gonna scale to like millions. I'm waiting for such a game, for such an app.
I don't know, guys, if you had a chance to try this AI coding agents that appears on the
We are creative guys. We are not the developers.
Yeah, this is for the creative processes as well. I did, and this is a little bit off top, but as a comment to your comment, I did it recently, and I developed the fully functioning booking system in React, which I know the HTML body and like basic tags, and I compiled the proper booking system in React and deployed this to production with payment gate and database, real-time database, and without even one line of the code written. So yes, I think this is one of the future advantages that we will have, and I really appreciate that. But because there are plenty of ideas, but wait for realization.
I think there's gonna be more games, but I don't know if the games will be better.
Yeah.
Or if the revenue will go higher, because we cannot just try more concepts. From the high perspective, you maybe look at the games and just say that, okay, revenue is going down per game, but it's not really true, or it is, because there is a ton of new games that people are releasing just to see if they are working or not.
Yes. But guys, there is one more. Thank you, Martin, for this, because you reminded me about one thing that I wanted to mention, because this is on high level, let's say, business perspective. Let's say you are a developer studio who's got like 20 games in the mix in your Google Play account, and you invest in user acquisition in 4 right now because they are the recent ones and so on. What people miss also, and this actually goes from very small companies to the big ones, is important of MMM. It's not M&Ms, but MMM, like the models that measure incrementality in revenue and user acquisition, because post privacy, not every last click attribution does not make that much of a sense as it used to. So you just, and it's again a brick to this first party data importance that will stakeholders just need to think bigger than thinking about this particular moment in time. They just need to see the trends, but this also requires budget and resources, which is also connecting to the topic of promoting big players in the industry, unfortunately. Yeah. But sorry, one more note: you can get a lot of help from your Google team. I don't know if you guys know, but there is a project in Google that promotes startups that have real project, like real product, and is willing to spend some money on monthly basis for like half of a year. And if you are willing to do that, they will provide you much more resources than usual account manager. And if someone wants to think about this and discuss this, I can be happy to discuss this with you guys to help you connect with the proper guys in Google European Google team that can support you.
Cool. European small indie devs, contact Konrad now.
Go on and move on.
Great.
I'll give a last question.
Please.
What do you play? Do you play anything?
This is a funny question, because as I unfortunately work a lot, I do not play a lot. I play mostly the games that we have in the portfolio and the ones that we are evaluating for publishing. But recently, it's maybe not very, first page app store, but I played a lot of from Hubby. I don't know if you guys know this game. This came to me not from the industry report or some other UA guy who mentioned this on LinkedIn, but from user acquisition ad. This is a game this is a RPG game where continent is falling apart. You just have your heroes deck, and you just compete with. It's single player, so you just move forward to the levels, fighting the opposite deck. Opposite deck, but there are plenty of mini games, amazing, very well crafted live ops, and the game is by default 100% AIP monetized. There are no ads. So it's just up to you if you want to progress faster or not, which suits me well because I was playing that much because I wanted to see how much I can get, in the leaderboards and the game progress without paying anything. And yeah, it gave me like proper day 60, like 2 months of gameplay without additional payments, which was great from the user perspective. And I didn't buy anything. Sorry, hubby, for that. Yes,
This is a free promotion for them.
Yeah, anyways, but the game is well crafted, and also the assets are warm, very calm. It's not this royal trend, where you smash everything and you just need to do stuff very quick and so on. This is like proper proper cozy stuff.
Cool. Thank you very much, Konrad. It's a
Thank
lot
you.
of insightful stuff.
Yes.
Thanks.
I'm
really
not gonna
hope
see.
someone...
Maybe we meet each other because we are gonna meet each other. Maybe even later today.
Probably yes. Probably yes. Yes. It's possible with which I appreciate a lot.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Konrad.
One more trend. One more note
All right.
at the end.
Last one.
I don't know, guys, if you saw Witcher 4
Yes.
gameplay recently.
Yes.
And I don't know if you know that, probably you know, that Witcher 2, I don't know about Witcher 1, I don't remember, but Witcher 2 and Witcher 3, and Cyberpunk, they were developed in this Red engine. They, outer studio developed engine, but they dropped it to Unreal right now, which means this will allow them to make a port to different platforms right now more easily, right? Because they will be supported by Steam, by PlayStation, Xbox, and so on, and maybe mobile in the future. And this is the last comment about the future of user acquisition and the gaming industry. I think that Unity engine, which is controversial right now because the approach towards the developers, Unreal Engine, these platforms and unified backend, like, solutions like Azure, like Amazon storages and so on, it will allow easily to go even more multi-platform, which may allow to generate more revenue streams for the developers, not only stick to the Android and iOS, and also allow them to use things like web to app or web to web solutions with proper web stores, because this also can be user base is easily connectable right now between the web and an app. For example, you have this people attribution feature in AppsFlyer that you can utilize. So this is one of the trends that I will see growing as well in the next years.
Maybe we'll become just game acquisition managers. Like you'll be acquiring people just across all platforms and just,
That would be something. That would be actually something. Yeah.
No?
Looking forward
to that.
I
hope for such a future, because I'm not really a mobile gamer, to be honest. So yeah, I hope for a future where I can actually utilize my knowledge to do marketing for PC games, primarily for console ones.
Have you done this ever, Milan? Did you ever try Steam campaigns or something like that?
I think I did but on very small scale, and it was like, it's just like a couple of $100, nothing big. And I know it didn't perform well. Hard to try. It was a completely new world, at least for me. Not really. It was more like traditional pay-per-click, right?
It's traditional marketing stuff.
Basically. So this is something I'm mentioning because I used to do that, but these were mostly wishlist campaigns, as you say, because this was a time when you were able to put the standard Google Analytics tag into the Steam account. But having this merged infrastructure, the engine, the backend, and so on, will give you even more possibility to have these events and post bugs even from this more advanced Unity engines, right? So you will be able to track this Steam apps funnel to the deep and receive the same signal quality as you have from the mobile games. This will be the change, and this is why I'm mentioning this.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Konrad,
Amazing.
amazing stuff. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much.
Enjoy
Yeah.
your weather on Tenerife. We are having our own Tenerife now in Slovakia already. Yeah, muy bien. It's all later. See
Thank
you.
you so much. See
Thank
you.
you for
thank
all
Thank
the
you guys.
listeners.
Thank you,
We love you.
listeners. Yeah.
Bye bye, papa.
Bye bye.